So in your screens right now is an Excel file, which of course we try to do the requirement in the previous session. We said that we create four tabs. The first tab is your schedule or tables. The second tab is your employee database. Your third tab is the date or the payroll for the 15th, and the next tab will be the payroll for the 30th. But we will do that later. Okay. So first on your tables, what I place only are the tables for your SSS contribution. Okay. So it will come purely from your SSS contribution table. And then your withholding tax table. So only two tables in your tables or schedule. Under employee database, I just place here different employees, name, and certain basic pays. Around 40 employees, I place 40 employees with their IDs, name, unique ID, and their basic pay. And then we start now with your pay for January. So of course, we have your employee ID for the first column. The second column is employee name. The third column is the basic pay, which of course, all of these three items will come from your employee database. Next column is your hourly rate. And we already know how to compute for the hourly rate. That is basic pay, basic monthly pay multiplied by 12 divided by 261 days divided by 8. Okay, so later we will automate that. Next, undertime. So in your undertime, you place here the number of hours in which the employee rendered undertime. Absences, number of hours again, the employee rendered absences. So 1 day is equal to 8 hours, so half day is equal to 4 hours. So just place it. 4 if ever 4 hours absent, 8 hours if ever whole day absent, 2 days absent, 16 hours, etc. OT regular, the number of hours for OT regular, remember that is 125%. So this is your hourly rate multiplied by 125%. OT rest day is still hourly rate multiplied by 130%. Special day, this is equal to your hourly rate multiplied by 130%. Sir, what if it's a special day whole day? So you place there 8 hours because again, our special day will be in hours. So UT, absences, OT regular, special days, rest days, etc. This will be in hours. Therefore, you should place here in hours and take note 1 day is equal to 8 hours. So if there is a special day that is a whole day, you place here 8 hours. Clear? So next. So this is only hourly rate times 30%. By the way, 30%. Special plus rest day. So aside from your regular day, you have a 50% additional pay here. So hourly rate times 50%. So regular holiday, so additional 100%. So hourly rate times 100%. How about if that is a regular and a rest day? Regular and a rest day. So this is 160%. So we place here 160% hourly rate times 160%. Then next, we have your night shift hours, only 10%, hourly rate times 10%. Sir, why is it on your OT regular and OT rest day, we add additional 100%? Because these are done in excess of the regular days. These are done in excess of the regular work hours. Take note, what is placed only in your hourly rate is your regular work hours. That's why we need to add additional 100% for the excess hours rendered. So total premium pay, this is the sum of all pay, of all premium pay. Gross pay monthly, this is equal to your semi-monthly pay. So basic pay divided by 2 for semi-monthly pay, plus total premium pay, less undertime, less absences. Next, we have your monthly pay. Your monthly pay is the 15th. This is equal to your 15th plus 30th pay. 15th plus 30th pay. Your SSS, of course, this is dependent on the table. HDMF, you already know how much is our HDMF. Our HDMF is either 100 or 2% if less than 2% if it is less than 5,000. How about your PhilHealth? Your PhilHealth, this is dependent on the following, right? If it's less than or equal to 10,000, less than or equal to 10K, you will pay 200. Greater than or equal to 80K, you pay 1/6. In between those amounts, you pay 2%. Now for gross versus mandatory, gross that's mandatory. So this is equal to your gross pay less your mandatory. Right? So gross pay less SSS, HDMF, and PhilHealth. Withholding tax, this is dependent on our withholding tax table. Pay less withholding tax. So this is gross less mandatory less withholding tax. Any loans and then net pay. So pay less withholding tax, less loans is for your net pay. Okay. So after discussing the different columns, let's try to automate now the computation. So let's start first with hourly rate. So hourly rate, you already know this one. Basic pay multiplied by 12 divided by 261 divided by 8. So we're done computing for hourly rate. For UT, absences, OT regular, OT rest day, special day, special plus rest day, regular holiday, and then you have your regular rest day and your night shift hours. We will total them in your total premium pay. So OT regular. So how do we compute for your OT regular again? That is basic pay multiplied by 125%. Next, OT rest day multiplied by 130%. Next, special day multiplied by 130%. Special plus rest day multiplied by 150%. Regular holiday multiplied by 200%. And then night shift hours, this is hourly rate multiplied by night shift hours multiplied by 10%. We forgot to multiply it to your hourly rate. Hourly rate times OT regular times 125%. Hourly rate multiplied by OT rest day times 130%. And then next, we have your hourly rate multiplied by special day, hourly rate multiplied by your regular holiday, and then hourly rate again multiplied by your regular rest day, and then hourly rate multiplied by this times 260%. Okay? So our formulas here, hourly rate, need to hourly rate multiplied by the day, so or your hours in these days, so OT rest day, special day, blah blah blah, multiplied by the percentage. So we use 125, 130, 130, 150, 200, 260, and only 10% here in your night shift hours. Because in night shift hours, it is already inclusive before of the rates. What you need to do only is an additional because it is done in a night shift. Next, we go to your gross pay semi-monthly. Your gross pay semi-monthly is equal to your basic pay. We divide it to 2 because semi-monthly. Take note, basic pay is always treated monthly. Then we add our total premium pay. Then we deduct our undertime multiplied by hourly rate. Then we deduct absences multiplied by hourly rate. Okay, so for example, we have 2 hours undertime. So it will directly deduct in our gross pay, the 2 hours undertime. So let's test if really 2 hours undertime will give us 7327.59. So our semi-monthly is, of course, half of 15,000, that is 75. We need to deduct the 2 hours undertime. So how much per hour? 2 hours times 86.21. Our net pay should be this one, 7327.59. How about if we have 2 hours OT regular? And no, 4 hours OT. So for example, you work for 12 hours. You work for 12 hours. So let's see if it's 7931.03. So first, let's pay our 8 hours. Our 8 hours is equal to our daily. We pay our 4 hours extra. So 4 hours extra. So 4 hours times the hourly rate, 86.21. And then the 25% premium for the 4 hours. So that is equal to 4 multiplied by the hourly rate multiplied by 0.25. So we have an additional 431.03. That's why 75 semi-month of 75 plus the OT of 73103, our sum will be 7931.03. So we tested the logic of our formulas. It's working so far. Therefore, we correctly placed these formulas. So what you want to check here is whether if there is an absence, it will deduct. So let's say you have 1.5 day absent. So 12 hours, it will deduct 12 hours. That's why now it's 6465.52. You have worked on a special plus rest day. Take note, when it's special and rest day, you, let's say 1 day, 8 hours. That's why you have an additional premium of 1,034.40. That's for 1 day. Okay, that's how we compute it. Now, we're done with these items until gross pay semi-monthly. We proceed to your monthly pay. Again, this is 15 plus 30. Since we're not yet done with the 15, later we will place the formula for the 30th here in monthly pay. Now for SSS, we will make use of our table here. So our formula is VLOOKUP. Okay. So VLOOKUP our lookup value is our total monthly pay, of course. Our table array, it will come from these values. So that is our table array. Okay? That is our table array. And then next, the column index. What do we want to place under our column index is the employee share. So where can you find column of employee share? So this is the minimum, the maximum, the monthly credit, employer share, and employee share. What is the column of our employee share? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The employee share is on the fifth column. That's why we place 5 here. And then whether we have an approximate or exact match. It's only an approximate match, so we place 1. Take note, since our table here will be fixed, we must place an absolute reference here. Okay? As you can see, I place an absolute reference here, a dollar sign, $A, $4, $J, $40. So that is our SSS. Now, let's check. If our monthly pay is 7.5, our SSS is 300. Let's see. So 7.5. 7.5 is in this range, right? 7,250 up to 7,749.99. Our employee contribution on the fifth column, 300. Did it return 300 value? Yes. Right. So the value 300 was properly returned. Now for HDMF, we said if it is greater or equal to 5,100, if not, 2%. So what is our function here? For our function for HDMF is equal to if function. Our condition is if our total monthly is greater or equal to 5,000, the value is true, we will place 200. The value if false, it is equal to 2%. 2% of the monthly pay. Okay. So since it is more than 500, it is more than 5,000, it displayed 200. Is it 200? No, it's 100. HDMF, it's only 100. Yeah, 100. If not, 2%. Okay, next, PhilHealth. What we want to automate here, if it's less than equal to 10,000, 200. If greater than or equal to 80,000, 16. In between is 2%. Therefore, we can make use of a multiple if here. So our first if function, if our monthly pay is less than or equal to 10,000, what is the value? We will place 200. If not, we can make another function. Now it's greater than or equal to 80,000. Monthly pay is greater than or equal to 80,000. What is the value if true? We said we will place 16. Value if false, we get the 2% of the monthly 2% of the monthly pay. Okay. So since it is less than 10,000, it provides us 200. Okay. So we're done with this particular formula. Next, we have your gross less mandatory. This is gross monthly less the sum of the mandatory SSS until PhilHealth. Okay? Gross less mandatory. Now, for our withholding tax table, it is based on your gross less mandatory. So, what is our formula here again? So, the compensation less the tax base or the minimum multiplied by the rate plus our basic tax. So, plus basic tax. Okay. So, compensation, this one, gross less mandatory, less our tax base. So, what do? we need a VLOOKUP again. VLOOKUP. What is our lookup value? Our compensation. We compare it to our tax base. Again, we are done with compensation. What we need to get is the tax base. So we go to our tables. So here is our withholding tax. Okay. Again, since this is our permanent table, we must make it as an absolute reference. Next, column or index number. So on the first column, we have your minimum, second column, maximum, third column, the basic tax, fourth column, the rate. What do we need to get here? Is the basic tax, are you sure? Or our minimum or tax base? It is our tax base. So what is the column of our tax base? First, second, third, or fourth? It is in the first column. That's why we place 1. And since we only want an approximate match, we place again 1 there. Next, so we're done with the formula, which is compensation less tax base. Compensation tax base, we now multiply it to the rate. Okay. So to get for the rate, again, we make use of the lookup. Okay. What is our lookup value? Our lookup value is our compensation. Next, what is our table array? It's still this one. Our table array is still this one. And again, they are with absolute references. Next, we need to get our rate, right? What is the column of our rate? First column, second column, third column, or fourth column? The rates are in the fourth column.
Fourth column.
That's why we place it at number 4. And since we only want an approximate match, we place 1. Okay, so we're done with the rate. Now, we just need to add our basic tax. So again, to get our basic tax, again, we make use of a VLOOKUP. What is our lookup value? We look up our compensation. And then, our table array will, again, come from our withholding tax table. Next, our column index number. Where is our basic tax here? Column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4. It is in the column number 3. And then, we place 1 here for an approximate match. So that is our total formula. Okay. So again, we VLOOK up our compensation on our table. Then we get the minimum value. Then we try to multiply it to the rate. You just multiply it to the rate, and then that's it. Let's just fix this formula. Okay. So what's the problem here? We look up T3, look up value tables, L4 to 09, L4, this should be L4. Okay. So our table will always come from L4 to 09. That is this one. L number 4 until 09 or 09. So that will be our table. So 69. Let's see. Let's check. It's 69. It is within 0 to 10,417. Therefore, there's no withholding tax. Next, we have your pay less withholding tax. This is gross less mandatory. And then the loans, if ever. And the net pay is equal to your pay less withholding tax versus the loans. Okay. So since we're done with all the items, we can now at least get all the values from our database. Let's try to fill up to 35. Okay. And we just place these items here. Okay. So as you can see, it now automates the computation of our withholding tax. Let's just split this one into like this so that we can see. Okay. If you try to look at this, so on our second employee, we have 47,000 basic pay. The monthly pay is 23,500. Here are the SSS, HTMF, and PhilHealth. So our gross less mandatory, which is subject to tax, is 22,130. So let's check if ever 22,130. So 22,130. 22,130 is within what range? In this range, right? Okay. So to compute that, we said we get the compensation, we deduct the minimum, we multiply it to the rate, and then we add 1 to 50. So this is 2615.75. Let's see if our formula computed 2615.75. We computed the same 2615.75 using VLOOKUP. Actually, you can make use multiple ifs here, but I don't recommend it. There's so much values. That's why it's better to make use VLOOKUP. So again, we just check whether our VLOOKUP is actually working. So here we tried the 22,130 gross less mandatory. We actually tested it, and yes, the value is the same at 2615.75. Okay, so that is on the first month. We just copy this sheet and make it another, we create a copy. So let's make this one January 30. So on January 15, guys, what you do is on January 15, there is no SSS, HDMF, or FIC yet. So you need to remove this one on the 15th. Okay? You remove those items on the 15th. But on the 30th, you have those items. Are we clear? On the 15th, do not place SSS, HDMF, and FIC. On the 30th, you place them. Why? Because you only deduct those items once. So in practice, we deduct them at the second semi-monthly payment. While withholding tax is always deducted. Withholding tax is always deducted. Okay? So we're done automating your payroll.